Hello, hello. Hopefully, we have everybody. There is LinkedIn, welcome, Facebook, welcome, Twitter, YouTube, welcome, as well as Instagram. And Instagram is down here. I am in a different space today, so I don't have my second camera stand with me today. So I just have the one that has a light, and it was just too awkward trying to see between the light over here and the camera over here. So, Instagram is going to look like, I'm looking off into space up there, but I'm trying to do double duty today. So, thanks so much for joining me today. If it's your first time meeting me, I'm Dr. Twanna Carter, and I am a career coach who helps stress busy Black professional women overcome self criticism, imposter syndrome, and doubt. And I do this by empowering them to manage their stress so that they can find peace of mind and focus on excelling in their careers, right? It's just time out for all that hustle and bustle and hustle and grind. If you grind, 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 and you never get a chance to enjoy it, what's the point of the grind? That's just kind of my how I look at that. And so I see Coach Adrian there. How are you doing today? Thanks for joining. And I do welcome your comments. So let me get my comment space over here. And I do have a question out there. I know Instagram can't see it, but of course you don't. I want to read it to you, right? And my question is, are you are you working your dream job? Are you really working your dream job? Now, today's video is about beyond the 9 to 5, crafting a career pivot that resonates with your true self, right? And so I do thank you for coming. And for those of you who always catch me on the replay, thank you for that. I appreciate you being here just as much as I appreciate all the folks who see me live, right? And so if you haven't already done so, go ahead and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I told you my goal right now was 500 people. I am up to 466. So thank you to those of you who have subscribed. And it's been well over 100 of you over the past couple of months. And I thank you for your support. So be sure to go over, subscribe, and then hit the notification bell. And that way you get notified every time that I go live or every time I drop a new video. And recently that's been kind of every day. I'm dropping something out there for you to look at. All right. And so again, if you're just joining me, today I'm talking about, I love saying today, it's really today, ta-da. Okay. I'm talking about beyond the 9 to 5, really crafting a career that resonates with your true self. Okay. And so I'm really thrilled that you're here. I'm glad to hear be talking about this because, again, a lot of people get caught up in working jobs they really, really don't like. And I know many of you, like I've had friends, your parents said, this is what you're majoring in. If you don't major in this, I'm not paying for your college. Well, then that makes you major in something that you really didn't want to major in. And then you end up getting a job in something that you really don't like, not so much. And people will hang around in those types of jobs for 5, 15. I've had clients as much as 21 years hang around in a job that they didn't like. And so that's why I'm talking today about really crafting a career. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring the crucial elements of really crafting a career. Just doesn't pay the bills, although bills need to be paid. That's a good thing, right? But not just that pays the bill, but really genuinely resonates with who you are, with your passions, with your values, and with your gifts. Okay. And also as well as your life goals or intentions. I do more setting intentions now. I do have a video out there. I have to link to that one about why I set intentions versus goals. And there's a huge difference. I am much freer with setting intentions than goals, right? So let's go ahead and start off with the why. So many of us have entered our jobs because it was available. It's what we studied in school, or it's what we were told to study. I said that, right? But to truly feel fulfilled, we do need to realign with our personal whys. That's the core motivation behind every every action you take, the why. Why am I doing this? Right? And so, imagine that, if you're a chef, and let's take it back to this. And some of you may have read his story on LinkedIn. He's a PhD, I think, in neurobiology or neuroscience. And he was trying to do his thing work. He got the PhD. That's a lot of time, effort, and energy. And he was kind of working that and realized that he really had a love for baking. And so he's in Canada. You can look him up. So now, yes, he got the PhD in, I think, I think it was neurobiology. And now he's like this master baker. He owns his bakery, and he bakes, right? So yeah, he could have sat behind his desk, crunchy numbers, because that's what you do, right? With the PhD anyway. And he probably could have done well with what he was doing, but he would have always felt something was missing. So it's really essential to understand what drives you, and then align your career with that energy. So you're meshing, right? Instead of saying, well, I got this PhD, so I must work in this job, and that's all I could do. No, he took that chance. He shot his best shot, and he is ecstatic. And I want to visit. I would love to be his test taker. I'm just saying, call me. I'll be your test taker all day. I'll test anything you come out. I will eat it. It's got sugar. It's baked goods. I'll eat it for you. No problems at all. All right. So let's move on to the how. And the how has three different parts. Number one is a self-assessment, right? And this understanding your strengths, your passions, and your values, as well as, it's great to understand what you like, but also understanding what you don't like, right? And then also, and why is this important? Well, it's important because if you're in something that you don't do well, and you're beating your head against the wall trying to do it, it makes that job very difficult to do, extremely difficult, right? Number two, research. Do your homework. Do the research on industries, identify industries or roles that align with your why. Because remember, you figured out your why already, and we're talking about the how. So one is self-assessment. Know who you are, know what you do well, know what you don't do well. And sometimes if a job requires something you don't do so great at, well, then commit to learning it. If you have to know how to do that. You love everything else about the job, but there's just one thing that you don't know. Commit to learning it, right? And number two, do the research. Talk to people. Do information interviews. I have a blog out there at Empower Her Blogs about why you should do informational interviews. They're a great way to network, as well as to really get down and dirty about what a job requires on a day-to-day basis to figure out if that's your thing, right? And then the third thing is network. Do connect with people in those areas. You can attend seminars, already said, do informational interviews, as well as attend webinars, workshops, talk to people. You don't even have to talk to great groups of people all at one time. If you're like me, you have social anxiety, or you're an introvert, but small groups, one-on-one, it all works. Okay. And so why is this important? I'll give you a good example. For me, I was started off in the military as an assistant battalion adjutant. I had to go down and inspect the next lower unit under me. To go and inspect what they did well, what they didn't, write it up, and then sit in this big old meeting and say, here's what you did well, here's what needs improvement, so on and so on. I did it well. When I got out of the Army, there were a couple of times that I actually did that. And one of those times was a health inspector, right? I majored in zoology. I minored in chemistry. So obviously it fit well with doing that health inspector job. And not only that, but I took a Hollins assessment. And it says this is one of your fields. This is something you should do in life. And I actually followed up later on and did it as a field examiner. And it said it matches with what you do well, and you have the skill, you do it well. There was just one problem. I hated it. I hated the confrontation with people. I hated the conflict. I never liked telling people what they haven't done well, even though you figure all kind of ways to try to make it sound good, feel whatever. I just hated that whole process. And I was miserable in those jobs, especially the health inspector. I was really miserable for a long time, 5 whole years. I was miserable. right? Because it said I had the skill sets. And so that's why it's important to do the self assessments and know your why. Know what you're great at, but not only what you're great at, but what you don't like. Because I finally figured out I don't like this. I I don't like it. It's just never gonna grow on me because I don't like to do it. And I gotta tell you, what I do now, I love. This is my why. This reaches out into my true value of why I feel I was put here. And it makes a phenomenal difference in how I go about and how I move as a career coach and as a therapist, as a hypnotist, right? It makes a difference. I cannot explain to you how much it does make a difference when you align your why with how, right? And now we're going to talk about tools and strategies. Nice slide there, right? Good transition there. To bridge the gap where you are and where you want to be, you have to consider different tools to get you there. Don't feel like you've got to come up with everything and do it on your own. This was my mistake when I got out of the military. I felt like I should have all the answers. I made the decisions to get out of the military. If it was going to be, it was up to me, and I got to figure it all out on my own. Big mistake. Big, huge mistake. I should have asked for help, although at the time I really didn't know what help I needed to ask for. And that was another thing. Again, it's why I do what I do. Hey, Christy, how are you? Thanks for joining. So I am Christy. I am Chris the coach, not Christy. It's Chris. Sorry about that, Chris. Thanks for joining. So there are different tools and resources that you can use to help you. So number one, don't feel like you got to do it all on your own. You don't. That's why we have career coaches, right? And so you can do things like mentorship, a great mentor that follows you through. I have finally found a great mentor. Maybe he found me, but at any rate, he's hung out with me for 7 years now. He is still my mentor coach. It is a wonderful thing. Part of the reason why I'm sitting here now as a full-time coach doing this full-time is because of my mentor coach. He started off as my executive coach, then he became my mentor coach. And so we're still there, right? We're still hanging in that relationship. It is wonderful. So do not knock mentorship. And don't feel like mentorship has to be in your skill set, because at the time I was a financial management analyst, budget analyst, and he did something totally different. But the relationship worked because 7 years later, almost 8, we're still together, right? You can do things like upskilling if that's what you need to do. And maybe even take career breaks. If you're in a position where you can take a career break for intensive learning, doing some deep dives to pick up some skill sets that you want, great. Look at certifications. You don't always need another degree. If you like me, you love learning. I told my sister, I told someone, I was like, oh, I would get another PhD if I had the time. She looked at me and was like, no, you won't. So, but if that's your thing, maybe taking that career break to do that. Many people do. And of course, investing in a career coach. Do that. It's what we do for a living, right? And remember that it's okay to pivot at any point in your career, any point, whether you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you can pivot in your 20s too. You can pivot in your 60s, right? Because at the end of the day, this journey is personal and it's unique. And it will always have its challenges and its changes, because the world of work is changing even as we speak. Ever heard a little thing called AI? Some people are running, screaming, pulling out the hair, scared to death. Other people are embracing it. So there will always be challenges and changes, but every challenge is actually an opportunity to learn and to grow. And you do need to have patience and embrace every step with an open heart, right? So I'm going to take a little pause for the cause. And okay, there's Tiffany. I was going to say, I'm taking a pause for the calls to check my comments over here. So Tiffany said, grinding too hard will lead to burnout. Absolutely, Tiffany. It actually does. She is so right, because you grind, and you go one accomplishment and then the next accomplishment. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? You grind. And next thing you know, you've been grinding for 2, 5, 7, 10 years. And some, shoot, year, okay, 0.89 month point, you're burned out and can't figure out what's going on. And when you're burned out, it does lead to health challenges if you don't fix it, right? And so I'm definitely, thank you, Tiffany, because that is actually so true. Let me be sure that I don't have any other comments out there. Let me check on YouTube. I do welcome your comments, ladies and gents. Okay. Because I get all excited and I start talking. So, yeah, I'll check my comments I hear. But I love that comment about burnout. And as a career coach, you do hear me talking about burnout a lot. Sometimes it's why people feel stuck and they can't leave or seem to move out of a position, can't seem to get that promotion, can't seem to do the things that they want to. It's because they're burned out and they need help. You need to get the help that you need and retool. And it's more than just getting some sleep. Burnout goes beyond just getting sleep, although getting sleep is a necessary part of it, but it goes beyond getting some sleep and some rest. So do get help. And that's why, I coach ladies. We're talking about finding peace of mind. You heard me at the beginning of the hour say finding peace of mind. It's getting out of that grind and that hustle mode. No, you can have a career that you love and still have peace of mind and focus on your career, but have enough time for the work-life integration. And I love that term. I've got some blogs out there as well that talk about work-life integration and work-life balance. You can have those, right? You're not going to be balanced every day of your life, obviously. It'll always be this, but you won't be, work, 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 and very little personal balance because, like Tiffany said, it leads to burnout, right? So, what's going on? Because guess what? I'm almost done, ladies and gentlemen, right? And understand this that, speaking of which, nice lead in, right? We often talk about work-life balance, but, I'd encourage you also to think about work-life integration. And when you know your why and you make sure it's linked to your how, right? You can have that true work life integration when your work aligns with your true self. It becomes a harmonious part of your life, not something that you are always needing to fight against and pull against and try to figure out how this all works. Yeah, that's what happens when you have that work life integration, right? Remember that you do have the power, you have the power to redefine your career, to really make it resonate with your true self. And it is about understanding who you are. And I know that's a part of coaching. So if you're like, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know why I'm here. I'm just doing this job because I've always done it because somebody said I had to, or this the family history of this is what we do as a family. Get yourself a career coach because we do walk you through that. I had a client that was like, all I know is after 25 years of IT, I'm sick and tired of IT. I don't want to do IT anymore. I'm done. I want to do something else. I have no idea what, but I need to do something else in my retirement life. And so she came to me and we found her dream career. It had literally been staring her in the face all this time. But if you don't know, it's okay not to know. And it's also okay to invest in yourself and invest in a career coach, right? Because you do need to be genuine with yourself and you do need to understand your purpose. If you don't understand it, find it, work through it, and then take the actionable steps that you need to take. So thank you for joining me today. And if you found this useful, please do share, share it with someone you see is going through maybe burnout, trying to figure out what they're here for, what's the purpose, why am I here? Share it with them and do again, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Maybe you'll be my 500th person. Let's see. Okay. And always remember that your career should be an extension of you and not just a means to an end, nor does it need to define you, unless, of course, that's what you choose to do. Right. So thank you for watching again today. For all the replay watchers out there, thank you as well. And this is the second video in this series. So if you have missed any of them, go ahead and look for them. It is out there under the Empower Her, okay, playlist out there. And tell you real quick where it is. Let's see if I'm quick enough to get you the link. I'll throw that link out there. Let's see, because I put it on its own playlist for this reason. All right, playlist. All right, am I gonna get it? Am I gonna get it? There must not be in order that I made them. They indeed are not, but that's okay. All right. I don't know. Maybe I did save it like I thought I did. But anyway, I will get that. I will go back around and get that for you. Yeah, there it is. It's right there in front of my face. It is Empower Her Navigating Black Women's Careers. All right. So it's not going to let me, let's see, copy link address. There you go. All right. So thank you. So, oh, I need help pronouncing that one. Is it Nabila or Nabia? Let me know how you're pronouncing that. Is it Nabila, Nabila? I'm not sure where to put my accent and syllables there. All right, here is the playlists. If you want to catch all of my October series of videos, and let me know. I've been doing it now since May. I try to do a theme for each month, and looking at what people, what kind of looking at what people are struggling with, what my clients say they're struggling with, and just being sure that, let's see, copy, trying to address what you need. So if you have something out there that you like to see me do drop it in the comments, or you can send me a DM as well. You can comment on YouTube, like I said, YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook. You can, contact me on any of those platforms, and I will be more than happy to entertain what you're talking about, do the research, and bring it to you. There's some things obviously I'm going to know off the top of my head, but then I also like to research too and get the latest stuff out there. So that's what I have for you today. So be back here next week when I have another great video for you. And again, if you've missed any of the videos for the month of October, there's a link to Empower Her Shift, Navigating Black Women's Career Transitions. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.